No one had ever walked into the circle of death and come out alive. Not a warrior, not a soldier, not even a god. But today, something happened that made every alien in the galaxy stop and watch. Something they had never seen before. Something so strange and shocking, even the dragons were confused. In the middle of the Zavarn arena, a dark and deadly place where creatures were torn apart for sport, stood a tiny silver cage. Inside the cage was not a soldier or a monster. It was a little girl, a human girl, just 5 years old. Her name was Luma. She had brown curly hair, no shoes, and her tiny hands were holding a soft toy rabbit made of cloth. She was not crying. She just looked around with wide, quiet eyes. Surrounding her cage were 10 of the deadliest alien dragons in the galaxy. Each one was over 50 feet tall. Their bodies were made of black stone and metal. Their wings spread wide like warships. Their eyes glowed red like fire. They had names that made whole planets shake: Vornath, Skor, Zoran, Madeth the Burner, and more. These dragons had destroyed cities, crushed armies, turned humans and aliens into ash. No one could control them, not even the alien warlords who built them long ago. But today, these monsters stood still, not moving, just watching the little human girl. The alien generals on the tall viewing platform were confused and angry. This test was meant to end in fire, hissed General Skav. Why do they hesitate? She is a weak little earthling, growled Commander Drox. They should have eaten her already. But no one moved. Down in the arena, Vornath, the leader of the dragons, stepped forward. His wings folded. His claws clicked on the stone floor. He opened his mouth. Smoke poured out. Fire lit in his throat. Everyone thought, this is it. She's dead. But Luma just stood up. She didn't scream. She didn't run. She looked right into Vornath's burning eyes. And then, she smiled. The great dragon paused. Everyone watching held their breath. Luma took a step forward. The cage door wasn't locked. The aliens never thought she could escape, but the energy bars didn't see her as a threat. She walked out barefoot, stepping onto the black stone. Vornath growled. The arena shook. But Luma kept walking. She walked right up to the monster that had destroyed planets. She reached out her small hand and touched his nose. Gasps echoed across the arena. No, whispered General Skav. That's not possible. But it was happening. The great Vornath closed his eyes. He lowered his head. The other dragons made confused sounds. They stepped back, unsure of what to do. And then Luma spoke. Her voice was small and kind. You're not bad. You're just sad. Silence. Not even the general spoke. The aliens didn't understand the word she used next, but the dragons felt something inside. I forgive you, she said. That word hit like lightning. It was not power. It was not a weapon. It was something stronger. The dragons lowered their wings. They knelt. Every single one. Before a little girl. She had done what no army, no gun, no planet had ever done. She had tamed the dragons. But the danger wasn't over. High above, the alien generals shouted orders. Soldiers, take her now. Kill her. Laser guns powered up. Metal boots stormed the stairways. But the dragons turned, and for the first time in their lives that they chose to protect a human. No one believed what they were seeing. 10 of the galaxy's deadliest dragons, bowing to a little human girl. The soldiers of Kor had their laser rifles ready. They rushed into the arena, their boots crashing against the metal floor. Above them, the alien general screamed with rage. Kill the child, shouted Commander Drox. She has broken the program. But down in the Blackstone pit, the dragons stood like a wall of fire and teeth. Their bodies formed a shield around Luma. 10 monsters once made for war were now her protectors. And the little girl? She stood calm, not crying, just watching with wide eyes. When the first soldier fired, Vornath moved. With one roar, the arena shook. His tail smashed the wall, turning steel to dust. Lasers flew through the air, but none reached Luma. Vornath opened his wings, blocking every shot. His black scales turned red from the heat, but he did not move. He did not let harm touch her. More soldiers charged in. More fire, more weapons. The dragons didn't attack to kill. They fought to defend. They crushed the weapons, they melted the tanks, but they left the soldiers alive. It was not about revenge. It was something higher, something only the girl had taught them. She had not come with hate. She had come with kindness. She had touched their hearts, even if they didn't know they had hearts at all. Above, the alien generals ordered ships to fire from the sky. But before they could give the final command, Luma stepped forward. She stood in front of Vornath and raised her hand again. Her voice was soft but strong. "Please stop." The soldiers paused. Even the sky ships froze, because at that moment, every dragon lowered its head. And they all roared, not with rage, but with peace. The sound rolled through the skies. The ground cracked, and far beyond the arena, creatures in other planets felt it too. A call of change, a new signal. War was no longer their way. Vornath bent down. He let Luma climb onto his neck. Her tiny hands held onto a spike and she leaned close to his ear. "Let's go home," she whispered. With one powerful beat of his wings, Vornath flew. The other dragons followed. They blasted through the arena dome, up into the clouds, across the stars. They broke past the alien defenses like light through glass. Earth's outer satellites saw them coming. 10 massive heat signals, with one small human life at the center. At first, Earth's defense went on high alert. "Dragons incoming, prepare for war." But then the screen showed her, Luma, riding the head of the deadliest dragon in the galaxy. Smiling, Earth wept with joy. The news spread in seconds, from the colonies to the core worlds, from space stations to city domes. The girl who had been kidnapped, the girl no one expected to survive, had returned, not alone, but with an army that now belonged to her. The dragons landed gently in the snow-covered mountains of Earth. They made no sound. They destroyed nothing. They simply rested. People gathered to see. No fear, just wonder. Luma came down from Vornath's back. She didn't speak much. She just looked up at him and hugged his nose. And he closed his eyes again. Peace. From that day on, the dragons never fought again. They became protectors of lost worlds. They helped humans build, not burn. They flew over schools and forests like silent guardians. And every year on the day Luma returned, Earth celebrated the Day of Fire and Forgiveness. A holiday to remember one small girl, barefoot and brave, who stopped the galaxy's greatest monsters with a single word: "I forgive you."